जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण मंत्र। जय श्री कृष्ण। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। Am I clearly audible?
Yes, yes, Manoj.
Okay. Somebody's raised his hand, Hari Shankar. We can ask reply after the class. Okay, so welcome everybody. So today is Krishna willing, we will be having the last session on Srila Prabhupada's life that we are discussing past 9 classes. So today is our 10th session. So in the last class, we learned that how Prabhupada is now has fallen really, really sick, and he was in Rishikesh. And when he understood his condition was really going down, he asked his disciples to move him to Vrindavan because Prabhupada felt that if he has to die, if he has to leave this material world, then it should be in Vrindavan and nowhere else. So we also discussed that how Prabhupada, spoke in Krishna Balram temple about that this is going to be his last stage and he would be leaving this material world, and that how all the disciples had started crying. So we'll begin the class from there. So Prabhupada, wanted in his last stage, he's living in a room in Krishna Balram Mandir, and he expressed his desire that he wanted to write his will, and so he wanted that his GBC men, we discussed earlier also, uh, General Body Commission. This is a group of people who generally take all the admin related decisions. So Prabhupada called for them, and he wanted to write his will. He wanted to discuss. He called all of them who were present across the world to come to Vrindavan and discuss these matters. So Prabhupada's very dearmost disciple, whose name was Tamal Krishna, and we also saw his picture in the video last time when we saw the Rishikesh video. So he asked him, and Tamal Krishna said that, you know, everybody loves you, Prabhupada, so all of them will surely come. All the GBC men will surely come. You're calling them. So at that, Prabhupada replies that, true love for me will be shown only after I go away from this material world. I mean, the test of their love for each other will be shown only when I am gone, because I want, you know, how much they are cooperating with each other. So what happens now? Till now, Prabhupada was holding the entire Krishna conscious society, all his disciples together. But once he is gone, generally, people fight with each other and there's politics, and then people separate with each other also. So that's why Prabhupada said that the true love, whether you truly love me or not, will be visible only when I'm gone. How? How much you are cooperating with each other. So the GBC men came one by one, and Prabhupada wanted to decide on a lot of things. So there were a couple of questions which the GBC men wanted to ask Prabhupada, because It was now time that he would be leaving this material world. So the first question they wanted to ask was, for how long should they remain in this GBC position? So suppose somebody is become a manager in GBC group. So they wanted to know for how long he has to be in the duty, how long should he remain as a manager. So Prabhupada replied, it is forever. It is not that it is a temporary position, it has to be forever duty. You will always remain in the GBC group. Then the next very, very important question which they asked Prabhupada was that once you are gone, who will be giving Diksha? Because till now, Srila Prabhupada was a guru for everyone. He was the only spiritual master. So at that, Prabhupada replied that his disciples should become gurus and start giving Diksha to new devotees. So that's a very, very important, announcement which Prabhupada did because, till now there is big conflict between ISKCON and there is another community where they say that, Prabhupada never gave this instruction and Prabhupada is the only guru. But Prabhupada's last instruction was that, you know, I want my disciples now to become guru and now they should start giving Diksha. And Prabhupada also, announced that this GBC should be ultimate governing authority in ISKCON. So all these things Prabhupada wanted to come in a will and in front of a lawyer. So actually the intention of Prabhupada was that he wanted protection for ISKCON. So, he wanted all the bank accounts, all the money, because now ISKCON had become a very, very big organization. It was large, it was a growing organization which had a lot of properties and money. And Prabhupada wanted safety for all this. He did not want that money should be wasted because all money Prabhupada said was Krishna's money. It is not anybody's personal money. So that is why Prabhupada, before he left the world, he wanted to make sure that all this money, all the properties are safeguarded and it does not go into wrong hands. So that was a very big concern, which Prabhupada had. So when Srila Prabhupada was talking all this, it became very clear that the day of his departure was slowly approaching. And so this also meant that Prabhupada's disciples, who were like children to him, like Prabhupada was their father. So, now the time has come that all of them should grow up, lead, manage, protect, and expand this ISKCON society. So, and this time when Prabhupada was there in this material world, this was their last chance to learn directly from him. So, because his health was still slowly deteriorating, so this was the only time when all of them could take instruction from him, learn from him, and follow on his footsteps. So, a few days later, this will was finalized in front of a lawyer. And after taking Prabhupada's permission, all these GBC men, they started going back to their respective countries. It was almost a week. They had been together for a week. And slowly they all started going back. And Prabhupada remained with his small staff of people who were taking care of him by, constantly chanting in his presence and looking after his health. So summers were approaching and Vrindavan was very hot and but slowly Prabhupada kind of started seeing that there's some hope of recovery. And he also started slowly going on morning walks. So he said, soon I will, be able to walk and get down from the car myself and walk myself. So he had some positive hope within himself. So there was a doctor friend of Prabhupada and who was from Allahabad. His name was Dr. Ghosh. And I'll just type it. So he was Prabhupada's very dear friend. And he came and he diagnosed Prabhupada and he says, "You have no problem. You only have anxiety for your devotees. You have a lot of anxiety for your Krishna conscious movement." Prabhupada agreed, but he did not want that the doctor should come regularly and, give him medicines or check his blood pressure. Because, having a doctor, having medical treatment, having surrounded by medicines, Prabhupada never liked it. For him, the only medicine was the Hari chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. So he always felt that if Krishna wants, that he will give him life again back. But if Krishna's desire is not there, then he will call him back. So Prabhupada quietly was resting and continued his daily day's routine, waiting to see what Krishna is desiring. And he would often wake up around 6 a.m. And when he would wake up, his eyes would open. He would see that, Tamal Krishna, his uh, disciple, was sitting next to him, on the bedside. So the condition was Prabhupada was such that, he had to be given a support to make him wait, to make him sit down. So that much weakness he had developed. And so very few devotees were visiting Vrindavan, and guests were not allowed to see Prabhupada because his health was not improving. And sometimes it would improve, sometimes it would again, go down. So it was like, fluctuating. Also because Prabhupada was not eating anything. So as a result, he was not building his strength because Prabhupada was constantly, believing that the only treatment was kirtan, was uh, chanting Hare Krishna and reading Bhagavatam. So even in this condition where he had to be given support to sit, he was still dictating. He was not writing himself, but he was speaking and somebody was making notes. And still the translation work of Bhagavatam was going on. And Prabhupada was enjoying, even in that condition, he was enjoying this translation work. Physical condition was not bothering him because his mind was absolutely at peace. Even in this condition. So he had this, his voice was very thick, heart palpitation. He was feeling weak, but it was not affecting him mentally. Even to sit was difficult. So we see that how, nothing could stop Prabhupada from working. Nothing could stop him from being Krishna conscious, even in that condition of life. So Tamal Krishna was constantly with Prabhupada, and he was his like a secretary for continuously 6 months. And he was like eyes and ears for Prabhupada, whatever, very close. He had a very close bonding with Prabhupada. So then he suggested a very different remedy for Prabhupada. He suggested that Srila Prabhupada, you are sometimes, there is a small hope of that you are recovering. Why don't we give it a try of going to America again? And if you somehow try and see the devotees there, take the prasadam, and be among your devotees in America, then probably your health will improve and you might gain back your strength. So that was his suggestion. And so then Prabhupada said, okay, we can think about it. We can think of going if my health improves. I also would like to, have the desire to live few more years so that I can make this Krishna ISKCON little more stronger and little more perfect. So Prabhupada consented to it. And local newspapers in Vrindavan were constantly giving reports of Prabhupada's health. And many people who were visiting the temple, they could take darshan of Prabhupada in the temple, because Prabhupada at 9 o'clock in the morning he would go and visit the temple. So he had become very weak. He could not walk. So he used to be taken in a palanquin. Like, I'll show you a video. You can have a look at that, how weak Prabhupada had gone and how he would visit the Krishna Balram Mandir in Vrindavan. So let's have a look at this video. Is it visible, Swara?
Not yet, Mataji.
No, no, the screen, black screen is there.
Yes, yes, can see the black screen.
Okay. Yes. So I hope everybody had a look.
Yes, Mataji, everybody did have a look and their thumbs up and they're great and nice. They're all signing. So it was great.
Okay. So Prabhupada was no longer in his regular times for sleeping, taking massage, or sitting up and translating. And Prabhupada could understand that he is now in a very critical period. And Prabhupada gave, permission to his devotees that you can chant a simple prayer. And the prayer, even today, devotees recite for their respective spiritual masters. So the prayer is that, my dear Lord Krishna, if you desire, please cure Srila Prabhupada. So it's always a request to Krishna that if you so desire, so if that so desire is a very important thing. If it is, ultimately it is Krishna's will, that if Krishna desires, he can do magic, he can give again a chance to Prabhupada to live in this world. So slowly, as we had discussed earlier, Prabhupada was taking a decision to again take a trip to America. And he said, if I can work a little more, our society will be very strong. I want to see that I have done whatever I've done is still made stronger. So one day when Prabhupada was lying on the bed, and soon Tamal Krishna brought the good news that his passport is secured and American consulate would help in getting green card for US. So Prabhupada, got this approval, and then after that he travels to London first. He arrived in London, and seeing his condition, his disciples were shocked. They have never imagined that, Prabhupada had become so thin, or that he could even travel in such a condition. So after London, Prabhupada was looking forward to traveling to America shortly after Janmashtami. And he also said that I want to live a little longer and make everything more perfect. But after Prabhupada, been in London for just 2 weeks, his health suddenly became worse, and his suddenly his plans changed. And instead of going to America, he said, "Please take me back to India." And he said, "I want to go to Bombay, and if in somehow I can live for a few more days, then let me see the opening of Bombay Temple." So we all know that how construction of the Bombay Temple was a big challenge, and uh, the property the person whose property was there had cheated the devotees, and it was a big uh, disturbance in getting that land. So anyways, now the construction was happening, but it was not complete, and Prabhupada wanted that if I can, as long as I'm here in this material world, if I can somehow see the opening of the temple, because I have worked so hard, for the Bombay temple. So then I can die a peaceful death if I can somehow just see the opening of Bombay temple. So from UK, Prabhupada couldn't go to America. So from UK, London, directly Prabhupada went to Bombay.
Also, he
But his
also
health,
visited America, is it, Mataji?
no, no, he could not go to America. He wanted to. Initially, the plan was to go to America, but then so he then went to London first, and from London he wanted to go to America, but then his health did not permit. And he said, I don't want to go to America. Let take me straight away to London, to Bombay only, to India, and I'll go to Bombay. So US plan was cancelled. So Prabhupada went to Bombay, and but his health was not improving. And then he announced that, please take me back to Vrindavan, to Krishna Balram Mandir. And because he did not, his condition was again started getting very critical. And he said, the condition is such that I should not move from Vrindavan any longer. And so he could not see the inauguration of the Juhu temple, for which he had struggled so much. And Prabhupada arriving in Vrindavan, he felt that he has come back home, and now he is under the care of Krishna and Balaram. So there was a prayer which is called Kula Shekhara's prayer. There was a king called King Kula Shekhar. I'll just type it. So he was a, his story we can see in Bhagavatam. And King Kula Shekhar used to pray that, my dear Krishna, uh, if you want me to die, then please let me die when I'm young. Because if I become old, my body will not function properly. My eyes won't be able to see you. I won't be able to walk properly. I won't be able to hear properly. So if you so desire, please, please call me back when I am still young, so that, while I am young, at least I can think of you, I can meditate upon you. So, whereas if you take me in old age, then I can't even remember you in the last days. So same prayer Prabhupada was repeating, that I'm still, my mind is able to think. So it is better that you take me now. I please do not, I don't want to die when my mind and my body is not supporting me. So Prabhupada's mind was fixed 100% in Krishna. And this time he again called for his 23 GBC men, because he was seeing that how his condition was really deteriorating. But this time he wanted them to come and just sit there and chant for him, because he believed that the only medicine that can help him was Krishna's names. And no other doctor could help him. So his disciples wanted, to rest. Not want any of these things. He did not want any doctor treatment. He did not want any food. He had almost stopped eating anything. He was just on very, liquids. So Prabhupada refused and he said, let me die now. So one of the, disciples of Prabhupada, his name was Harikesha. And when he heard of Prabhupada's condition, he just said that, Prabhupada, uh, become stronger. I'm doing such nice book distribution. So Prabhupada said, no, no, I don't want to become better. I don't want to become healthy. I have nothing to do with this body. So basically, what we see from Prabhupada's mood was that he was slowly becoming more and more in favor of leaving this material world. So he had taught everything to his disciples, and now in his through his example, Prabhupada was teaching them what is the ideal way to die from this material, what is the ideal death. So life should be ideal, perfect, in service of Krishna. Even when dying, that is also should be perfect. So Prabhupada then asked his disciple that he gave a name, and the person's name was Narayan Maharaj. So this was Prabhupada's god brother. So, and he said that he asked his disciples to go and meet him, so that he will explain how will you can conduct the ceremony of a person who's leaving this spiritual in this material world. So basically, there is a set of rules and regulation which one has to follow when a guru leaves this material world, and a samadhi has to be made, because um, somebody who's at the level of Prabhupada, the body is not burned, the body is buried. So it is called samadhi. And so Prabhupada asked his disciples to go and meet Narayan Maharaj and consult with him how should the samadhi be made, and what all the rules, to follow for a person who is at the level of Prabhupada. So that's what, he wanted his disciples to learn all these last minute rites from Narayan Maharaj. So Prabhupada told his disciple that one should always be surrendered to Krishna, and he should leave everything in Krishna's hands. Even his death should be in Krishna's hands. So that is why, Prabhupada was teaching that prayer, that if Krishna you desire, then you can, uh, you know, give a life to me, but to our guru. But if you don't desire, you can take him back. So, ultimately, Prabhupada was teaching that everything is in Krishna's hands. So, somebody at the level of Prabhupada was not bound by any reaction of his karma, like how we are. We do something and we have to suffer because we have done good or bad. But Prabhupada was above all these things. And Prabhupada was not an ordinary guru. He was not an ordinary man who will get reaction for his karma. He had escaped death number of times, even when he was going from India in the ship, and even in America, he had serious heart problems. So Prabhupada had escaped death number of times by Krishna's mercy and by the prayers of his disciple. And of course, Prabhupada's own will was very, very powerful. But this time in 1977, Prabhupada was finally ending his mission in the material world. He actually had realized that this is now time to
Mataji,
go back.
1977?
1977. So now Prabhupada had, kind of realized that it is now time to end his mission in the material world. And he had given so many instructions to his disciples. And now the final instruction was how to teach his disciples what is the ideal way to pass away from this world. How to die actually is also an art. The most difficult thing to do in this material world is dying. We all are afraid of death, right? So, but Prabhupada, he was teaching that how should one die also, constantly thinking of Krishna, constantly chanting and having no other thought except Krishna's thoughts. So uh, Prabhupada's room was constantly surrounded by now many, many devotees. Many people were coming and sitting with him, chanting. And it is said that when somebody is about to die, we should uh, sit next to that person and just chant. So the chanting should continue. And so this translation work also, Prabhupada said that it should be continued. So Prabhupada was dictating, even on his deathbed, Prabhupada was dictating, and the disciples was writing the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. So earlier he used to work alone, but now in front of everybody, he was, giving translations of his Srimad Bhagavatam commentary. And a devotee would softly read Sanskrit text to him, and another devotee will hold a microphone to his mouth, and Prabhupada would do the translation. Actually, sometimes his voice was barely audible, but he would speak. So his disciples, everybody who saw Prabhupada, were surprised how Prabhupada was working, even in that condition where he was just become, there was no skin on him. He was just become bones. His thoughts were clear. His memory was perfect. And not just that, he was giving reference from scriptures. Yeah. So here's another video I thought I'll show you where Prabhupada is lying and he's giving translation to the Bhagavatam verses. So devotee would read from Sanskrit verse and Prabhupada would give its translation. So have a look at this video also. Yeah, so Prabhupada, this is how Prabhupada was until the last minute. He was working and translating clarity of his thoughts. He could remember verses from scriptures. Can any of us be like this in our when the time when we are about to die? He was completely peaceful, completely all the time thinking of Krishna. So Prabhupada had accepted affection from and from his disciples, and but disciples were in a very bad condition now. They wanted Prabhupada to continue being with them, and they wanted him to eat and drink, become physically strong again. But Prabhupada only wanted chanting and hearing Bhagavatam, as you have just seen in this video. So gradually, it was becoming clear that Krishna wanted him to come back to the spiritual world, and but whatever is the condition, Prabhupada always spoke clearly, logically, and with complete devotion to Krishna. And we see that up till the last minute also, he was uh, giving discussing practical matters. Like Prabhupada started a Bhaktivedanta Swami Charity Trust for reconstruction of temples. So this money which will come in this trust, that should be utilized for construction of ancient temples in Bengal. So, so what I'm trying to say is that Prabhupada, even in that condition, he was very, very clear as to what he wanted, and his thoughts were absolutely clear. Thoughts were completely fixed on Krishna. So, like this time was going on, and one day what happened? Prabhupada's sister, Pishima, came and to meet Prabhupada, and Prabhupada requested that please make khichdi for me. Okay. And now at that time, Prabhupada was actually on a liquid diet. His disciples were not giving him any solid diet. So the person, Kirtanananda, who was for many years, who was the official cook for Prabhupada, he became very angry, and he started opposing Prabhupada's idea of eating eating this khichdi. And he said, because you are Prabhupada, you are on liquid diet. How can you eat khichdi now? But Prabhupada, insisted that his sister is a Krishna devotee, and nothing bad will happen if from her hand I eat khichdi. So Prabhupada had khichdi in that condition, and I mean, nothing happened to him as such immediately. And then while his sister was still there, Prabhupada started speaking in a very extremely humble way. And he said that, I think I would have become proud of my success and of having so much of money and temples and opulence. So now God has shattered my pride. So if the body is not there, then how can I be of any? How can the proud be there? So my body is going now. So with that body, pride will also go. So his disciples got so surprised that how can Prabhupada is saying that I have become proud. Prabhupada is so humble. But Prabhupada said, no, no, I must have committed some offense. I must have committed some sin. That is why, uh, you know, of my fame and of my money. So Prabhupada's sister also protested, you can never commit any offense. So Prabhupada said, no, no, sometimes I would use harsh words on people, and I would fight to protect Krishna, to protect the philosophy of Krishna. So probably, I am getting that punishment. Anyway, so what we are reflecting from how Prabhupada is saying that in as a person like Prabhupada who was you know completely humble, how even in that condition he was thinking, I think I have become proud. So that is the level of consciousness which Prabhupada had. And even later also,
Ma-
Prabhupada's got,
So, Mataji,
god
could you repeat
brothers
that?
from different.
Mataji, could you repeat that
Yeah, no,
point?
Prabhupada in that condition. Yeah, I'm saying Prabhupada, even though he was very, very humble, but he was thinking that I have become, because of so much of money and because of so much of fame, I think I must have become proud of my achievements, and that is why I'm Krishna is not taking me back now. So Prabhupada's godbrothers, and they also visited him, some big gurus from different temples, and Prabhupada was resting when they arrived, and Prabhupada sat up on his bed with little difficulty, and they were sitting all surrounding him.
Who came, Mataji?
And
So, I was lagging behind a little bit. Who?
Prabhupada's godbrothers. Godbrothers means that like different organization like ISKCON.
Yes, yes. Got it, got. You have explained this concept. Guru's same
Yes,
students, right?
yeah, yeah. So they also, many of them, around 12, 13 of them came to meet Prabhupada, and Prabhupada told them that how there is so much of potential of preaching Krishna consciousness in outside countries, even countries like Russia or Africa, where the government is so difficult, and people out of India are accepting the message of Krishna or message of Lord Chaitanya. So he was requesting that if we all come together, if we become a big group, we become like a family, then we can preach together, and we can propagate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. So Prabhupada basically wanted that not just ISKCON, other sampradayas also should come together and work together in unity. So he folded his hands and he was asking forgiveness even to his godbrothers. And he said that I had become proud of my success and opulence, but were so shocked to see this, the way Prabhupada was behaving. And they said, no, you are an eternal leader. You rule us, you rule over us, guide us, and you chastise us. How can you become proud? You never offended anyone. So it was the blessing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. In fact, wherever you went, opulence and success followed you, and you have saved millions of people around the world. So these are the words of Prabhupada's god brothers, that how they were feeling for him, that how you never offended anyone and you have saved the lives of millions of souls. You, despite so much success in creating in ISKCON, Prabhupada remained humble. And that is what his godbrothers were reflecting. This attitude of complete humility was a symptom of highest stage of devotional service. And and also in between, Prabhupada, there was one incident that how Prabhupada wanted to go on a bullock cart ride and travel around the temples of Vrindavan, but his disciples were shocked to hear that how Prabhupada can't even think about it, because Vrindavan roads are so bad and in such a health condition. How can Prabhupada think of going on a bullock cart ride around Vrindavan? So that plan was cancelled. So on November 14, 1977, Srila Prabhupada left this material world in Krishna Balram Mandir peacefully and went back to Krishna, saying that I have no other desire. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one who's always thinking of me comes back to me. So Prabhupada, till his last breath, remained in complete Krishna consciousness. His departure was perfect because he was the He was in the most sacred place, the land of Krishna, surrounded by Vaishnavas and chanting Krishna's holy names. And Krishna was personally present in the form of Hare Krishna mantra. So we all know that there is no difference between Krishna and his name. So much of chanting was going on and was going in the ears of Prabhupada. So Krishna was personally present in front of Prabhupada. So we give a lot of tests during our whole life, but our real test is at the time of death. And if we are able to think of Krishna at the time of death, then that person 100% goes back to the spiritual world. Because death is so painful, because death is very, very painful. We all have seen people around us. The person is forced to die because the body has become unfit. So, like Prabhupada's body had become unfit to live. So the soul cannot live in a body which is unfit. So at death, the eternal soul is forced to leave the body for an unknown destination. Thus, the devotees, a person is full of fear and suffering. So Prabhupada underwent death in a way that was perfect and glorious, and at the same time in a way which we all can follow. We all can see that how Prabhupada left this material world, always thinking of Krishna, surrounding himself with medicine of chanting Hare Krishna, always desiring to hearing about Krishna. So this last lesson which Prabhupada gave was one of the most wonderful and important instructions Srila Prabhupada gave us. He taught by his life, by his books, and at the end, by his dying. He told us that how when a person dies constantly thinking of Krishna, he goes back to Krishna. So we see that an animal die and a human being also die. But a human being is supposed to understand the process of going back to the spiritual world. That is the difference between human being and animal. So if we are always fixed and remain undisturbed in Krishna consciousness, then we can go back to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada expertly taught the process to us. His passing away, therefore, was a perfect lesson. So if we follow Prabhupada's lesson of how to leave this world, then at the time of death, we all also can go back to Krishna. So Prabhupada, it is believed in ISKCON that Prabhupada is still with us through his instructions, through his books. So anybody who reads Prabhupada books or attends the classes, listens to the knowledge which Prabhupada gave, then Prabhupada is still with him through his books, through his instructions. So we have seen a glorious life of Prabhupada, a perfect life, that how Prabhupada at the age of retirement, Prabhupada goes to America and creates ISKCON. ISKCON, which has brought so many souls under Krishna consciousness. Those people who were drug addicts, who were most fallen, had become the highest level of pure devotees. So that's what it is, my dear friends, the class on Srila Prabhupada. And I hope all of you understood the class, you enjoyed the class, and wonderful journey. of, in fact, this is the second time I have read Prabhupada books, and it really, shook my heart. It really touched my heart, even the second time when I have read. And I hope that it has also touched the heart of all of you who are sitting here and attending the class. So, is there anything that anybody would like to share uh, about these 10 sessions? You can please raise your hand. Of course, question you can ask, question we can ask again in next session. But is there any learning or any uh, realization or anything which touched your heart would you like to share here in the class?
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada Mataji, 19 1977. Where did he die? When did he die?
Yeah, I just wrote the date in the group, no? 1977.
It's not 1979, it's 1977.
Yes,
Okay, and Prabhupada, he died at Vrindavan, right?
right, in Vrindavan. Yes.
So he was very lucky, very fortunate, Mataji, that it was like a dream come true that he passed away there.
Yes.
One thing was, Mataji, that Prabhupada, so temples, Mataji, Prabhupada, where are the places, which are the places where have temples established? I wanted to know.
Okay, so there is a long list of, there are many temples around the world. The count, because still continuously, even now, new temples are opening. But yeah, 108 to happened even in Prabhupada's time.
In Pune also, I think Bombay, some new, in Pune, new. No, in
Khargar,
Bombay.
yes. Khargar, yeah, one new temple has opened up.
Where, Mataji?
So we
Heart.
can take other questions. Khargar, I think. Khargar. Yes, Bombay. Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Namaskar.
Krishna.
Yeah, so Mataji, that I have seen all the lectures. Thank you for adding all the videos, all 10, and these were very, very touched, very moved. And you said that Prabhupada was in Samadhi, he's buried basically, right? And when he's buried, basically, he goes inside, he's in a sitting position. And then on top of that, is there a tree? Is something built? Is that place, people can visit that place?
I haven't understood what question it is.
Okay, he's gonna repeat the question, Mataji. So Prabhupada, when he died, there was a samadhi, right? He was buried, and inside he's like in a sitting position, and he would be covered back into mud with
Yes,
all mud, and on top of that place,
that's right.
there's a temple, there's a tree. What is there? And can people visit that place? Is there a place? like that.
Yeah, the Samadhi is still there in Vrindavan, Prabhupada Samadhi.
So what is on top of that, Mataji? Is something built? Is just land? Is
No,
something
it's not
built on
land.
top?
Generally, a kind of a like a small room or a temple is built uh, on top. So it's not just a bare piece of land. Something is generally built on top of that. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, if there's any photo of this,
Sure, sure. I'll share. I'll share.
and also the book actually, the photo of this book, I'll go to is the temple and get and read this.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah, sure. So
photo is end of the book.
I had shared earlier also. I'll share again in the group.
Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, it's 10 o'clock.
Okay. You can just take two or three more Saurav today. Last session. My personal request.
I
Never
understand,
I
Mataji, but
request.
I have to sign the video now at night. That was the plan. I would finish it and then 10:30 I have some other work also.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Fine.
10:30 I have another meeting and 10:30 to 11:30 and I'm alone again.
Okay. Fine.
I can just take one or two more. Some new
Okay.
person if you want to choose, Mataji, we
Yeah.
can.
Hari Shankar you can take. And Suman you can take. Two people.
Yeah, Mataji Harishankar is saying that his father knows some magic, like black magic kind of things, and he feels afraid that it's my home. I've seen it kind of something.
Okay. So what is the context?
I think basically, I think he's afraid, kind of afraid for that his father would do something harmful. He's saying the truth, he says.
Saurav, I'm not able to understand the question.
Should we give some other person a chance, Mataji?
Yeah, what did he say? Something about black magic, huh?
His
What is
father,
it?
he's saying he's some magic or something he's doing at home and he feels afraid, he says.
Oh, chant Hare Krishna.
His video is also frozen.
Ah, yes.
84 lakh? What 84 lakh, mother? Something?
Species.
mysterious land of the Himalayas. Snakes, 10,000 different kind of snakes, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that description we can find in the Vedic books. Yes, video is quite disturbed.
Yeah, he says he found it from some Krishna related book, 84 lakh.
Okay.
And chanting is very important for the soul.
Yes, thank you for chanting. Very nice. Is
I
there a
think
question? Is there any question or
I think would be a new person, so is not doesn't know the so maybe the question is
yeah?
general. What to do, Mataji? Because his
You
same
can just tell him that
84
our
lakh.
class times are over. You can join again if there is any question. Next class, we'll meet and you can ask a question. Now, anyways, we are past the time. So, what is the question? He's not asking the question.
Yeah, cows, animals, different kind of 84 lakh. Is that they have
Okay.
many like that? How many?
What is the question, Saurabh?
Uh, 84 lakh species like
Yeah,
ants.
okay. Yeah, yes. Question that we've heard.
Why do we have 10,000 snakes? Why do they die in 10 years? We live 80 years.
So, each species has a lifespan. It is not up to us. Like in earlier days, in Satyuga and all, people would live for 10,000, 20,000 years. So each species live according to the life that is being given by the Lord. That is not our decision. That is the decision of the Lord as to how many years He has given to like a dog just lives for 3, 4 years. So similarly, different species live for different number of years. And that is not in our hand. That is Krishna's judgment who has to live for how many years. Okay, so thank you so much.
Mataji, I'm sorry. I would really have to
I'm
go.
yeah, yeah, you can ask him from my side that it's time that we need to close. Okay, so thank you so much for attending the class, and so tomorrow most likely we'll be sharing a, a video about what different personalities of the world of great leaders have spoken about Srila Prabhupada. So kindly have a look at that beautiful video, uh, how good people have spoken about Prabhupada, and please share it with other people and spread it as much as possible. So I hope you enjoyed the class and thank you once again. So thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, Rasrati. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.